Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the Urban Entrepreneur Show. And today we have a very special guest, Dori LaMarra. And why am I so excited about this? It's because she is the owner of Grow Elite Leaders. And she's going to talk about today mastering self leadership, secrets to sustaining businesses for decades. So, for those of you newbies and those that are in the middle of building a business, you want to get your pencil and paper and get your iPads out so that you can take some great notes for as you're listening to this woman who has really been in business for decades. And I'm just so excited about that. But let me tell you a little bit about Dori. She brings a wealth of knowledge to the table. She has been an esteemed business owner with a track record of building and sustaining multiple successful businesses. So I'm going to have her, after I introduce this little bit, to have her tell us a little bit more about her because learning self leadership plays a crucial role in driving lasting growth and prosperity in businesses, whether they be urban, rural, or suburban. So, welcome to the Urban Entrepreneur Show, Story.
Oh my goodness, thank you, Anna. It is such an honor to be here. And I just get to share, my journey of owning businesses and what it takes. And I love the title of Mastering Self-Leadership because, I've heard John Maxwell say, leading ourselves is the hardest person to lead. And I feel like I should just be the poster child for that. I don't know. I started businesses when I was 18 years old in 1977. And I still have families that started in my business. They're still with me.
Oh my goodness.
And so something was going right or they wouldn't be there. Absolutely. But I just, I treasure working with people and making a difference in the community. And that's been my go-to line from day one, making a positive difference in the community.
Oh, that is so good. You know, it just amazes me, especially today. Everything is instant, quick, and you snap a finger and we can Google it. We can, you know, take a picture, take a video wherever we are in the world because of the technology that we have. But that hasn't always been the case. Um, as you have been building sustainable businesses for decades. So, can you just share some of your key strategies that you've utilized to sustain multiple, not just a business, but multiple businesses for decades?
Yes. So, listen, listen, listen. And I always tell people, like I do coaching, and it is listen, learn, and grow. Because we may know our craft really well when we start a business. But if we're not listening to the people that are servicing our business, like it's not about us, it's about the people. And what do the people need? And what is our service for them? And then always look at how are they serving our business too. But I listened, and that when I look back through the years, I think about, so my first business was opening a performing arts school. It's like a dance studio that expanded into all of the arts and singing and acting and everything. So that was the first one. And then I went on to uh, property businesses and a cabinet company and leadership company. And the one, I mean, I've got 5 main things that I'll touch on, but
Okay.
the one thing, and this is really number 2 on my list because I'm going to save number 1 for a moment. Number 2 on the list is listen. And I feel like that's why I've had longevity.
Mm.
Because I listen to the people, I hear what they have to say, I align what it is they're requesting or looking for with my values.
Mm.
And then I kind of, you can listen and not do what they say or request, or you can listen and adapt what they're saying into what you have to offer.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think because I listened so much and I messed up a lot. I mean, come
You
on.
mean you're normal.
I'm normal. And when you mess up, you learn the most. Because, like, I don't think I would have learned anything if I didn't mess it all up first. So I've had a lot of really good experience messing it up. But I would listen after I messed it up. I would listen. And then I would go, oh, I can prevent this in the future if I change this and this and this. So after a while, it's been 5 minutes. What are we changing? I like change.
Oh goodness. And so listening is one of the things. And that's one of the things that I think serves us, whether we are in business for a moment or for decades, or we're just in life. Because I think I heard a statistic not long ago, or maybe many years ago, where it says that most people are not listened to. They just are not listening. People don't listen to them, and they don't listen. And so, what you are doing as one of the strategies that you are employing in your businesses, and I dare say in your life, because many times we can't separate the two, um, is key, and it's something that a lot of businesses just don't do.
Right. Well, and two, it's not even just owning a business that you need to listen. So I sold my main business a couple years ago, and what I learned even more was how important it is to listen. And so I started to work for this new owner, and I absolutely love that because I'm listening and then I listen in a different way. So it's not, you don't have to just listen if you're owning, but you need to listen if you're also, an employee or helping other people, coaching, whatever it is, listening and not just listen to let somebody vent and move on. If somebody has something to say, I've always thought there's a reason.
Mm.
Okay, most people are not just, well, I don't know, maybe people are talking to talk, but if they're a client of mine and they have an idea or they have a complaint or a concern or something's not working for them, but they're a client, why wouldn't I be listening?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then not just listen and say, okay, thanks, but listen and evaluate.
Mm-hmm.
So evaluating what the experiences are have been a key element because I have to think, okay, is that what they said, has to be some validity to it. I mean, there's got to be something or they wouldn't have said it. And I know for myself, when I go to a business, if I see something, I'm like, that's not. a restaurant. Okay, that didn't work. And you say, hey, this is just something, if you want to take that to make some improvements, great. I'm not offended if people try to tell me a different way to run my business. I'm really not offended at all. It's like, okay, bring it on and let me think about it and evaluate and then adjust or move along.
Yeah. Now
If
that
it's
oh, that is so good because a lot of people who have businesses or people that are just living, they don't really want the feedback, and especially if it's coming from someone that or you have a really good idea that they don't mean you harm. It's like like you said, that there's a kernel of truth somewhere in there. There's some validity, and so it really behooves us to at least to listen. And I love that next part, evaluate. Yes, absolutely. So, Dory, how important is self leadership in ensuring longevity in a business?
Well, Anna, I learned this the hard way.
Mhm.
So both of my parents were entrepreneurs, so I learned a lot and watched them grow through the businesses. But one thing that I learned the hard way is I was pouring every ounce of myself
Mm.
into the business. So I got to work with kids. And are you kidding me? If you're going to learn anything, work with kids. The parents will keep you in line and the kids are going to tell it like it is.
Oh, it's going to tell
So
the truth.
I just adore every single one of them. So I was pouring in and giving everything that was in my mind, my body, my soul, everything around me, giving, giving, giving. And one day I had like a anxiety attack
Mm.
from stress. And then another. And then I was like um so stressed out. I'd find myself on the floor of my business after hours just shaking.
Mm.
And I wanted to my life to just like forget it. Okay, forget it. I can't keep up. I can't
Right.
keep up. Well, I didn't have anything else to give. So everything was hard. I every single thing. My family was hard, my life was hard, learning was hard, keeping up was hard. My body felt like yuck. My head was hurting all the time. I was gaining weight that I just like, what am I going to do with this? Like, ah. And I collapsed. And
Mm.
then I thought, well, I should probably do something about this. And it was a turning point, but it took me to collapse. And then I got, I'm not real big into medication and stuff.
Mhm.
So I found a naturopath and she said, you're like dead. You're dead. And you've got to take this and this. I said, well, I'm not taking anything. So what else? And so she had me change my food plan.
Mm.
And in 2 weeks, I was really starting to get on the mend. I was like, wait, what? So I was doing, I don't even know. Can I say what I was doing? Okay. And it's a branch of Eat Right for your blood type. And I mean, it just started working. And I kept going. And I got to a point in like 2 weeks that I could actually think. And I'm 11 years later to this point, 11 and a half years, never gone off of it. And it was life changing. But what it brought me to was, so I got a little more clarity.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I started to eat right for me. And this happened to work for me. And with clarity, I recognized, wait a second, everything around me was starting to fail. The the
Mm.
family, the business, the relationships, the you name it, it was going down. Well, I was too stressed out, so people couldn't even handle me anymore. So I started to make sure that every day, and I'm telling you, every day I would make sure that I was taking care of myself.
Mm.
Self leadership. Now, it was very difficult at the beginning because
Yes.
I wasn't in the habit. I didn't do it for years. And you don't recognize it until you crash. So I want to say to our listeners, to our crowd, come on, don't wait for the crash. Make yourself a priority.
Mm.
What I have learned, and we hear this, but we don't get it until something crazy happens. Make yourself a priority. And if you like serving people and helping people and working and doing things for others, you better fill your bucket. If you run dry, you there's nothing else to pour out. So this is why I'm the poster child, because I learned it. I actually learned it. And because I had, this listen, like I would listen, I just didn't listen. I didn't even tell myself to take care of myself. So now I'm listening to myself, I've got to put myself first. Okay. Well, you know how selfish that feels, right? Well, self care is not selfish.
Right.
And I started to take care of myself. And then I realized my light was coming back on, and
Mm.
I had more to give to others. So I've learned through the years. Okay. So I've literally been healing myself, food. And then like what else do I need? I need to take care of my brain. So I'm kind of a brain health freak. And I need to open up to new possibilities. So I have a few other things that will help businesses grow and sustain, but self care. Now, I started with number two, listen, and now self care is actually number one.
Mm.
In my opinion, of decades of owning a business and crashing, the hardest person to lead is yourself.
Yes.
Thank you, John Maxwell. And yes, that is absolutely the truth.
Yes.
It's so hard to put ourselves first. But when you recognize the outcome, so now I'm like a master at this, and I recognize the outcome, and the people around me will flourish.
Yes.
They are flourishing, and I can pour into them so much more because I've learned what to pour into myself.
Oh, Dory, you know, I wish we had some posters, that would that would remind entrepreneurs that for all of the giving, all of the doing that you have going on in your life, that if you don't prioritize your own health and well-being, um, then you really don't have a business. I mean, too often we've heard of so many business owners that have crashed and burned, and some of them didn't recover as well because they didn't have the energy. They didn't have what it took for their business to be sustainable and to get through those very hard places that sometimes we come up with, that we or often faced, I should say. So I'm glad that you mentioned that and that you made it such a point. Business owners, please listen. Please listen to what Dory is saying. You must prioritize your own self. And that's one. And so self leading, leading yourself. is going to pay you in a royal flush. I'm not really a card player, so I might be screwing that up.
I can't help you.
But it will pay you in the long run. And so thank you so much for sharing that and giving us the example of your own experiences in life, because sometimes we don't pay attention. We just don't pay attention. We're so busy doing everything else for someone else until we're like the last person on the totem pole, and then we crash and burn. So thanks a lot.
Well, you really, if it's so simple, if we just stop for a second and think about it. If you don't have anything left in you, you can't give anything. Or it's just super simple. When I'm coaching, the first thing that happens is, I've got, business owners, I have this I want to accomplish. And I'm like, well,
Mhm.
what are you doing for yourself? And that's just first. It's just first.
Well, like I said, I really hope, sometimes we know those things, but we just don't take action on them. But when that point is brought back around, especially from someone who has the experience in business of not only just one business, which can sometimes just make one person crash and burn. You've done this multiple times with multiple businesses, and so your advice is more than valid. So what advice would you give entrepreneurs who are looking to build a legacy business? Those businesses that not only last a lifetime but sometimes last even for generations.
Yeah. So this is something that I'm learning is we create everything that we do, we create our own legacy. And I just hope, that and I do see it because I'm on the third generation of dance students. And even though I sold that portion of the business, I still get to work with some of the kids and families, and I'm growing in the leadership area more so now. But building a legacy, every person you serve, everything that you do in your community, making that difference in your community, getting out there and sharing your craft and who you are and your character and your person is really what carries your legacy on. I hope that people will know me for helping people make their dreams come true. Like, tell me your dream. What do you want? Okay, great. The person that purchased my business came to me and said, I want to buy this dance studio. Like, why are you buying this dance studio? I don't want any studio. I want this studio. And I was like, wow, I'm the one that holds that dream. So I have to let that go and let her do that and have that dream.
Mm.
And so that was a very, very important to me. And a couple things is create your culture
Mm.
in yourself or your business. What are your values that you're going to always live by
Mm.
and create that culture? So that's another area that I think is very important, is looking at your values, not following the trends.
Mm. Oh,
So
that's a
being
good
in
one.
business for over 40 years, it's not, I didn't follow trends. I I followed the foundation, the making a positive difference in the community, and the values
Mm.
that I had. And the values might grow through the years. So my culture grows through the years, but there's always the foundation.
Yes.
Not just, oh, everybody's doing it, so I'm going to do it. I never did that. Oh, I did that a couple times and it failed. That was like the learning fail. But yeah, create the culture.
That is great. I love that you talked about values. I think that's something that is becoming a what is that, a thread that is running through um, the conversations that I'm having with, guests that come on the show. It's knowing what your values are, knowing what your core values are, knowing what value you bring and the values that you want in your life and around the values of the people that you want to have around you. And so, you know, first of all, I think just really taking the time to identify your values and then aligning what you do with the values really will make a difference. I don't know if my business will be around for 40 years, but what you are saying, what you're sharing with us, definitely will provide the foundation for building and sustaining a business for whatever time that you have it and that you choose to grow it. So thank you so much for that. I love that values piece because the world often tells us to do something else and to follow whatever the new trends are. But Dori says, don't do it.
You don't need to follow the trends, follow your foundation.
That
Now,
is so
um,
good.
are you ready for
Yeah.
another one?
Yes.
Okay.
So, could you discuss a specific challenge that you faced in your entrepreneurial journey, how you overcame it, and what role mentorship played in helping you grow and grow through it?
Oh, that is amazing. So one year, several years ago, I had I had a team of people in the community that just wanted to bring me down.
Mm.
Like, let's just get rid of this one. And so there was a lot of talk and chatter, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? What's this like explosion of negativity? And I collapsed again, even though I had already come out of like self-care and I had already been working really strong on leadership and really like making changes. And I could see myself really spreading more light than I ever had. And then, bam, people
Mm.
are. And so I had to stop. I mean, it was terrifying.
Mm.
But I had to stop. And I had really good supporters around me.
Mm.
But, it only takes one or, like chirping,
Yes.
whatever. Like, let's just kill her. Okay. So I had to stop and I put myself in a timeout and I bubbled up and I thought, okay, who am I? What do I give? What do I do? What is my character? And what do I lead by? And I always led by integrity.
Mm.
I do what I say what I do, I walk the walk. You ask anybody and they'll say, she does what she says and she walks the walk. That I just do. And I thought, okay, these people that are trying to tear me apart, they don't even know me.
Mm.
They're just like, mm. And I thought, okay, take the high road. Stop worrying about what people are doing, saying, whatever. Do you. And you have to show the way. You have to show that people that you do what you do. You have to show it. You can't say it. You got
Yes.
to walk it. And so I just took a breath. I stepped back for a second and I just said, all systems go. I know who I am. I know what we do in our business. I know what we've got, and let's go. Some will come and some won't. And you learn who really cares about you in times of trouble. And I had an amazing team of people that were with me, walked through it. And I feel like I'm so grateful for those moments of trial because I learned what my strength really was.
Mm-hmm.
And if I hadn't already started to heal myself and pour in to learning more, personal development, to be able to sustain the trials of business ownership and leadership.
Yes.
So mentors, oh yes, I was on the phone. I was finding every person I could find that went through tough times. And then at the time, I was part of Maxwell Leadership. So I was just letting it all feed into me again. I
Yes.
had to listen, feeding in, rebuilding my soul and coming out stronger. But I had to keep learning. I couldn't just say, "Oh, I know, I got it. I'm already at my peak." I'm 64. I'm not at my peak. I got places to go. And I will continue to learn and grow. And I mean, when challenges come, now that I've poured in to myself and I have more to pour out, these challenges, and I'm in challenges, like there's stuff all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, okay, how do I, these are my options. Here I go. And you just pray.
Yeah. Yeah. You see, wow. You know, it is challenging when um people that don't know us start throwing bricks. Um and and just being unkind. Like if you don't know me, just be quiet. but but as you just said, and giving your example, it's like that becomes something that we get to do. We get to then to check in, and then to evaluate again, and then to make sure that we're still doing what we're supposed to do. And like you said, take the high road and keep doing what you are supposed to do. Keep um, showing them, and that's invaluable, because I don't know about, well, probably not like me. I sometimes be ready to fight. But that doesn't always work. Sometimes that's what people actually want us to do. And so um, when we can take the high road and
Yeah.
just keep doing what we're supposed to do, and keep showing them that no, we still care about our community, we still care about our people, the people that we serve, then you know a lot of that stuff will fall away. And like you said, we get to enjoy and experience our own growth, and we get to see who loves us.
We really do. And it does take challenges though for us to kind of be in check. And I I mean, they're like complaining about a time from 20 years ago. And I think back and I'm like, yeah, maybe I did say that or maybe I did that, but that's not we like I don't know, but I'm not the same person I was 4 days ago. I'm not the same person I was 20 years ago. I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago. And I look back and go, that was a huge stressful time for me. So I'm just know who I am
Hmm.
and I know how I've grown. So I just don't worry about the past because I've learned from the past. And I just want to keep getting better every day. And if I'm going to coach or I'm going to continue to work with children or something, I've got to keep getting better every day. I need to be a role model for these people.
That's right.
So if I give up or fight, you know, then I mean it crossed my mind, okay? But I did
Okay.
I was gonna fight and then I thought after being mentored
Hmm.
and like really thinking like the fight is just gonna be like that's going to take up more of my time and I need to just keep going forward.
Yes.
So the fight wasn't worth like no. So I did enough and it surfaces every once in a while and I'm just like I don't have time for that. So and another thing too with the longevity of the business is delegating and
Okay.
letting things go.
Wow. Yeah. So tell us more about that. Delegating. That must be one of your other secret sauces.
Well, it did become that.
Okay.
All right. The young me who knew everything in my 20s did not delegate. And then I thought, well, when I'm 30, people are going to love me. And I still didn't delegate. And then, through the years, I realized I can't really get anything done without a team.
Mm.
And I need to pour into the team. And I did I trickled that through the years because there's people that were with me for 40 years and more. Like, I don't know. Some of these people have been with me for 47 years.
That's
So
like almost all your life, Dori.
I know. So it was delegating and allowing people in. So when it became the employees, I call them a creative team, and um, I was like, well, wait a second, we need to work together. I need a team that I can help them grow. So it became where people were with me for a long time. And I would say, if this was yours, what do you want to do?
Hmm.
And one said, well, I really want a ballet company. And I said, well, okay, start one. Well, how can I do that here? I just start it. You've got it. And one wanted to take over like the recreation, this program. Okay, well, why don't you just do that? And then it was like, wow, it became I wanted it to feel like an ownership
Yes.
for everyone because I'll tell you, we don't get to where we are alone. And
Mm.
I knew this forever. Like I look back at the very first client that ever walked through my door and signed up for the service that we had. And I still am connected with that person today.
Wow.
And I learned more from those first set of clients. And I still remember what they taught me and how they shaped me. And I'm so grateful for them that they cared enough to give me their opinion.
Hmm.
And I listened to them, but delegating and letting go. So there was a time, sure, that I just thought I should do it all. I need to do it all. And now that I'm older and wiser, I
Right.
can look back and I see that was a problem. So new entrepreneurs out there, new business owners, or even if you're just starting with a company and as an employee or something, what's your craft? What can you offer? What can you
Mhm.
bring to the table and allow people to help grow? And letting it go was really difficult because, I was the only one that could do it.
Mhm.
And, but what I learned was they can do it way better than me. Because if I'm doing 45 things and they're doing one or two, their one or two are way better than my 45.
That's true.
So I needed a team. And oh, do I recognize that more so on this very day than ever? A team of people absolutely is what will keep a business growing.
So, Dory, I remember when we talked earlier, you talked about the fact that one of your businesses or a couple of your businesses is in an entirely different state. And so, share with us how that delegation process has worked because of that.
So it took me a long time to get there, about 7 years, but I started my businesses in Michigan and it's really cold and snowy. Well, I've never been, even when I was young. I don't want to be cold. I don't want to be in the snow. I don't want to shovel and I don't want to drive in the ice. So I wanted to move to Florida. But how do you do that when you have these businesses? Well, I learned how from being in a leadership company, and I learned how the more importance of delegation and trusting.
Mm.
So, okay, so you delegate, you let go, but developing the muscle to trust others was huge. Now, I've really always been pretty trusting.
Hmm.
Because like you can trust me, I can trust you. Okay, we're good. But really trusting and letting go. So I would go to Florida for 3 weeks and then come back to Michigan for a few weeks and go to Florida. And I would do a lot through the phone, through virtual, and then it just continued to grow. And my team, they were incredible. They were just incredible. So I just trusted. They had good communication. And I remember, so when I go into a business and you need something done, and they're like, oh, I need to check with the managers or I need to check with the owner. I thought that drives me nuts. Just give me an answer. So I was like, wait, I need to empower my front line to give people the answer. So I went in and I just told the whole staff, hey, if this were yours, what would you do in this situation? What would you do? What would you do? And they had amazing answers.
Hmm.
And I said, all right, we're going to try this. Answer the questions. If somebody needs a refund, and it sounds like what would you do? You don't have to come to me. And we did that, and our guest service was off the charts. People became more relational, communication, connection. Everybody felt empowered. And I was like, whoa, where was this all along? But I started to go into other types of businesses, and I would watch, and I would watch and study guest service. And
Mhm.
I mean, I've been doing that for a long time. And I would just watch, and I would just pattern things like, what do I like? What doesn't work? What works? And I just started to really learn the art of letting go. And friends, we can't do it all anyway.
No, sure can.
We eventually find that out when we crash and burn.
Yeah.
So we can't do it all. It's not going to happen. So why are you working so hard to try to make that happen?
Yes.
Work harder on developing the leaders around you. Work harder on that delegation and developing the leaders around you so that you can all become stronger together.
Yeah. That's now that's a great word. Develop the leaders around you. So if you're a business owner, that was a gem. That was a mic drop right there. Don't just try to, if you're developing yourself, great. You still want to do that. You still want to grow yourself, but don't forget your people. Help to grow them too, because they may wind up actually creating a better company for you and for them, with that ownership mentality, so that they won't let things just fall apart because they care like an owner, even though they're not one. So thank you so much, Dori. Do you have any last um, things that you want to share? We just about at the end of our time, but I just want to give you a couple of extra minutes to share, maybe one or two um, takeaways.
Sure. I do like to say, everybody just get up, dress up, show up. I love to use that phrase, get up, dress up, show up, because sometimes it's hard. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we just want to throw it all away, throw in the towel. It's not working. That's the time that you just have to breathe, go to the beach, and then get back. And because that's probably the time that you're going to launch.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go through hard times, but I'm going to circle back to that self leadership, self care. And when I'm coaching my clients, you just have to take time. If it's like, oh, I don't have time, I've got the kids running around, I've got this, I'm caring for my kids and my parents and my family and the business and all of it. I've been there, I know. And if I would have taken 30 seconds, 10 seconds, an hour, whatever it is, put a book in your ear. And there is a book, Developing the Leaders Around You. Put a book in your ear. Put something in that's going to help you grow.
Yes.
Self leadership. It's the hardest, but it is the most important when it comes to sustaining your life, not just your business.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I love
What are we teaching our kids? If you have kids running around and you're not taking care of yourself, that's not so good.
that. Mm-hmm.
Show them that they are important by you taking care of yourself.
That is so true, Dori. That is so true. I know that people are going to want to know how they can reach out to you. So, can you give us a way for us to do that?
Sure. My website is groweliteleaders.com. And I have a Facebook and Instagram, it's Elite Leaders. And, just reach out, go on, click, contact me, whatever it is. And I'm happy, to share. I love to share this journey because I'm like surviving.
Yeah.
I want others to survive, but I want you to do it much younger than I did.
Well, I think sometimes at any age it works, as we do what you said at the beginning of our our time together, which is listen,
Listen,
listen.
so much.
So thank you so much, Dori LaMarra of Grow Elite Leaders. We're just so delighted that you were able just to come in to share with us today, and to share especially your experiences of being a business owner for 40 years and still at it. Building leaders, making sure that you are taking care of yourself, and then showing the way for others to do the same.
Can I just say thank you so much to you, Anna, and your program has been, it's so wonderful that we get to do this and share all over the world. And your organization has been amazing, absolutely fantastic. And I just hope that your listeners are, able to just take something and grow.
Well, yes, me too, and they are. Especially when I have guests such as you. Like I said, 40 years in business, you can't take that away from anyone, and the experiences that you've been able to share with us, the truth telling from your seat, has, I think, been, for me as well as for others, most valuable. And then you still smile and look like you are 24 again. So thank you. So, my friends, as we wrap up this exciting episode of the Urban Entrepreneur Show, I just want to extend my thanks again to Dori LaMarra of Grow Elite Leaders. Um, and to you, our listening audience, and for those of you who will view the recording in the future, you are our fantastic guest, and we just appreciate you because our passion is for urban entrepreneurs. It's what really drives us. So today's show was brought to you by our sponsor, which is Thrive Leadership Institute. We're your go-to source for coaching, training, and resources. You can find out more about Thrive Leadership Institute by going to the website, at thriveleadershipinstitute.com. And I'm getting some noise, some feedback here. um, for those of you who are entrepreneurs and that you have an amazing story to share, consider joining us as a guest on the Urban Entrepreneur Show, because we're all about sharing wisdom and experiences that will inspire others to do so. And so you can find out more information about the show and apply, by going to theurbanentrepreneurshow.com. And so until next week, until the next time, I should say, I'm just going to say good night. Thank you again, Dori, and have a wonderful, wonderful week. Bye bye for now.